How's it going, guys? I want to share with you guys another build video for the Miragaia and Path of Titans. It just was launched today, and unfortunately I wasn't able to play a ton of it because the servers are down, so my dino on the official servers is actually still an infant. So I jumped into a custom server, team deathmatch server, in order to give you an idea what I think are the best abilities and the best build for this dinosaur, so that way you guys have an idea how you want to grow and build this dinosaur on official servers or whatever server you're playing on, where it does take some time to grow it, so it kind of gives you guys a little bit of direction in what you want to do. I also, before I move on with the build, do want to say a huge thank you to you guys for hitting 1,000 subs on the channel. I don't want you guys to think that I overlooked it. I am working on some I guess, footage and some content for a video to celebrate the 1,000 subs and things like that. So huge thank you to you guys. I can't believe we actually hit that. And I also want to be able to get the channel to a point where we're getting more, I guess, frequent content put out there, and not having such a gap in between videos. So thank you guys so much for sticking around, sticking with me with the channel, and all of that. It means a lot. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the build. And we always start off as we normally do with the subspecies. Now, I believe it usually says on the top right what subspecies we pick. It's not saying it up there, so maybe it's because it's a custom server, not sure. But I went with the plus 3% attack subspecies. I honestly believe whatever subspecies you pick honestly doesn't matter for this dinosaur that much. I just went with the plus 3% attack damage just to try to end a fight a little quicker in a PvP situation. But all the subspecies are pretty good for this dinosaur, I must say. So really just pick whatever one looks best to you. And if you want that little bit of damage, go with the plus 3% attack damage like I did in order to try to take down your target a little bit quicker. So that's what I went with for that. And then jumping into the abilities, we have a very interesting one for its passive, which is called Paralysis. And as it reads there, when this dinosaur is being attacked by other dinosaurs, whoever attacks you, it'll actually get a 40% increased ability cooldown, and also it reduces its speed up to 20%. And when the target hits full paralysis, as it reads there, the attacker will also be stunned in place and be paralyzed. And I think it's like 3 seconds from what I could see. Right around 3 second mark, they're locked in place. So it's actually a really cool passive. And if you're ever getting attacked by multiple small attackers, try to keep track of which ones hit you and how many times they hit you, and just kind of watch for them to get locked down by the paralysis. So that's something really to make note with this dinosaur. It's kind of a really cool little passive defensive thing in there. For the head slot, we also have Spit, which is an interesting attack. And as it reads there, you can spit on an enemy within 5 meters to weaken their attack damage by 15% for 25 seconds. And you can do this up to 2 times, which stacks it. So after you stack it up to 2 times, they can't be spit on for 5 minutes, though. So I feel like this is like if you're going to play a bit of a support role in a group, you could put this on there. But as you can see, there's no other ability to put in here. I don't personally use it all that much. I do sometimes use it when entering into a fight, but a lot of the time it's got a long animation. You end up taking a hit for it, and it's usually not worth the payout, honestly, in my opinion. 25 seconds goes by really quick. So if you can use this, use it in a group when you're supporting your friends. It's probably better. But playing solo, I didn't really use it all that much. Now, getting into the senses and all this stuff, this is where it gets interesting. I actually chose to go with a mud build because this dinosaur can actually roll in the mud. So, as you can see, we went with mud block as for our sense ability, and it says that while you're covered in mud, you gain 50% increased bleed, bone break, venom, and poison healing. So that's a huge bonus to be able to just negate some of those things. And I really am looking at the bone break right there, because if you can heal your bone break up, by 50%, that's huge. I know a T-Rex, when it, like at least the version of build that I run for T-Rex with the crushing bite, it does a 10-second bone break, and if you have this on there, that'll only be a 5-second bone break. So you'd actually be able to escape T-Rexes and things like that that are using that one, and not the long bone break. So it's kind of cool to have those reductions right there. Metabolism we don't care about. Moving over to the hide. This is where it gets interesting. I've tried a few different builds. There is really a nice build you could probably put together with venomous spines. So if you're looking at putting some venom down and stuff like that, that works really well. But I do not want to overlook the mud ability that this dinosaur brings, right? So running muddy scales, this is what gives you the ability, as you can see down there on my L1X. It's actually an ability that you hit, and you can roll in the dirt, covering yourself in mud. And here it reads, you gain you gain up to 50% increased armor based on the amount of mud currently applied. So my understanding and what it did seem like was happening while testing it is that if you rolled in the mud and let's say you rolled up and you got 30% mud on you, right? Because it gives you a little buff bar, shows you how much mud. So actually we can look at that right now. So if I'm here and I do this, of course it's raining. Raining takes away the mud. But as you see, it's kind of dwindling down because the mud gets wiped off by the rain. We'll talk about that in a second. But you get a little buff thing there, right? So looking back at this ability, if you was to get 30% mud on you, that gives you, in what I understand, is 15% armor, according to what that reads. So you gain up, it gives you up to 50% increased armor based on the amount of mud currently applied. So if you have 50% mud on you, you got 25% armor. It also says that activates you can activate it multiple times to apply it. Mud washes off in water and rain. It cannot be used in combat. Additionally, gain 50% increased paralysis, can't speak, damage while this hide is equipped. So you actually get more paralysis happening while this hide's on, which is your natural passive. And as you can see, the big turn, or I guess downside to this ability is that when it's raining, as it is right now and behind me, it actually washes this off. So you don't want to be taking fights too much when it's raining, and you also don't want to, if you're going to cross the water, you want to make sure that you get the water, I guess, debuff off of you, and you want to get dried out before you apply the mud again. This is a very situational build in a lot of senses because rain can affect at any time your build. So I will say that it's a little situational, and I normally don't like putting out builds that are situational, but I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun when you use this build and you have it working. Unfortunately, it's raining right now behind me, so it's going to demonstrate some of it. But yeah, Muddy Scales, really cool ability, and it's one that we actually use down on our bar for our abilities. Legs, the leg slot. Now, there is a build again that you can use with counter turn, but going with caked on, mud effects persist 3 times longer when wet. So this kind of just helps you counter, as you just saw down there when I rolled in the mud, it kind of helps you counter some of the rain that's coming down a little bit. It just helps a little bit if you were to cross in water or whatever. Kind of helps you keep it going. I don't know how much of an effect. I just kind of went with a mud build and threw it on there. It seems to work out. And then for the back limb, this one's actually really important. If you're being attacked from the front, this allows you to like spin around and attack your front side so that you can actually bat an enemy away, which is actually really cool. So it also reads here that it knocking back all enemies behind for a medium damage and applying venom or toxin depending upon your hide that you have equipped. So as you know, we're running the Mighty Scale, so it doesn't really doing a whole lot. But if you were running something else, it would apply the toxin or the venom. Oops, I didn't mean to back out of that. So this one's really cool because you can use this and it spins your tail around, so whatever's in front of your face, this will spin around and kind of whip something in front of you. I like that quite a bit. Your regular tail attack is a filling attack, I call it, because in my opinion, this attack right here, Tail Barrage, is probably your bread and butter for doing a lot of damage. It swings your tail 3 times when you activate it, and it does a decent amount of damage, honestly. And when that's down, this goes on like, I think, a 5-second cooldown, but your tail attack goes on a 2-second cooldown upon use. So you can actually use your regular tail attack in between to kind of fill the damage and to continue to do damage while your Tail Barrage is down. And Tail Barrage is like really nice. So this is the build that I went with. I really like it so far, and just to showcase some things, because this is a little bit interesting how the mud works, and of course it's dark and raining and I can't show you much, but we'll just go ahead and activate it. So you can roll in the mud and it'll start putting the mud on you, and I think you had to roll like 3 to 4 times to get 100%. That's without the rain knocking it down, right? But we can hit it again. And of course, this is not something you want to do while it's raining. Unfortunately, it's raining right now. But yeah, because of our lag slot, I'm pretty sure that's decreasing a little bit slower than normal. But it's honestly hard to keep up with. You'd have to do this a lot just to get this up on there. But it's a really cool ability that this dinosaur has. I wish it wasn't raining right now. It wasn't raining when we started talking about it, but it's raining now. But yeah, try not to fight when it's raining. Try not to fight when you know you're going to cross water. Try to draw your dino out. When the dinosaur is dry and it's not raining, this is a super cool build. And just to demonstrate some of the abilities, because I will show you a couple clips of me killing stuff, but that's tail barrage right there. Nice little whip. And you see how this one comes back up? Your regular tail attack comes back up. You know, so if you're fighting somebody, you can hit the tail whip on them as you're passing by, and then your regular tail back attack comes back up before your tail whip comes back up again. So you want to be able to use this, your tail barrage, and then my regular tail attack is back online so I can defend myself, and then now tail barrage is back online. So that's kind of how you want to, I guess, swing those two. Now keep in mind the I think it's called lash. Is that what it's called? Thrash, lash? Let me look at it. It's all new. Lash. The attack that attacks you on the front, if somebody's challenging you on the front and you see them coming, you can actually hit this ability, and that tail whip really knocks them back. It does a nice knockback and does a decent amount of damage too. So yeah, so those are kind of the bread and butter. And the spit, we'll just talk about that real quick. The spit doesn't go very far. I honestly don't feel like it's worth that much payout unless you're in a group and you want to help your teammate survive the attack and do most of the damage, kind of help them, give them an opportunity to go in. But yeah, that's the Miragaia, and so fun, a really cool mechanic of rolling in the dirt, and so I definitely wanted to make a build that plays into it. So choose your moments when you want to roll in the dirt and when you're going to attack, and try not to do it in the rain or when you're crossing water. So yeah, that's the build, and I'll show you a couple clips of me fighting real quick, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.